On the 41st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be discussing what defines a sport, some baseball news, including what is the cause of the increase in pitching injuries, Jason Kelce's surprise appearance on WWE Smackdown. The March Madness is ending, and it is getting wild in both the men's and women's bracket. What Rashee Rice could be facing. We're going to end it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay? Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Let's just get started here. A lot obviously has happened in sports the last few weeks. First of all, some injuries that have happened, like Spencer Strider, his UCL is not looking too good, and he is a key model in the Braves' starting rotation. Obviously, they're ace this season and seasons before, so it stinks seeing him go through that MRI. Something's wrong with my mic. Through that MRI, and something's wrong with his UCL, because that is a potentially season-ending injury. He said that he was going to go to some doctors in Texas to evaluate what is going to exactly happen. But again, you hate seeing guys like that hurt who have the potential to win Cy Young this year and potentially Hall of Fame career later in the future. And you just don't like seeing pitching injuries like that. I've heard a lot of people being like, if these pitchers are pitching less innings, so for like in this period, in this era of baseball, you don't see a whole lot of pitchers going past 5 or 6 innings. But what is the reason? And they're getting more hurt. What is the reason for that? Now, I've heard a lot of people, including Trevor Bauer, say that it may have something to do with the pitch clock. Are they rushing the pitcher too much? Is this bad for their arms? And I'm not quite sure what the solution is to this. Is it that they take away the pitch clock and just go for their players more than the pace of game? So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but I do think that the MLB is going to have to do something about that if that is the cause of all these pitchers getting injured. Because I think the bottom line for the MLB, obviously MLB and MLBPA, is for player safety. Now more MLBPA wants player safety than MLB. But if that's what it takes, like, you can't have the MLB with injuries. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Trevor Bauer, so I think that this season Trevor Bauer will not play in the major leagues, but I do think next season there will be a bid for him. I think that a lot of teams will try to go after him, especially how he's dominated in spring against affiliates of these major league teams. But people, or I should say teams, don't love the hate that is going to go after it. So whoever signs Bauer, like for example, if the Dodgers go and sign Bauer, they're going to get hated on because they have this guy with the background that Trevor Bauer has. But what my thinking is that, all right, let's say Guggenheim, who are the owners of the Dodgers, they're all about winning. They don't care about money. They just want to win. They don't care what it takes. They'll pay. Obviously, we've saw them have over $1 billion offseason. They are willing to pay the price to win. So why don't they have Bauer? Because they're afraid of the backlash? Now, I'm not quite sure why you should be afraid of the backlash if all you're trying to do is win. If that is what you are about, is winning, then you should sign Trevor Bauer, because I think he has proven that he can still perform in the major league level even after taking a couple years off and playing in Japan. I think next season there will be a bid for Trevor Bauer. I think they will wait till the offseason and free agency then to get him in the middle of this season and have him go from there. So I do think after the World Series takes place that Trevor Bauer will sign somewhere. And I do think that there will be a lot of teams trying to go for him, and I don't think he'll take the league minimum. I think that teams will bid for him, and he's going to make millions of dollars and everything, like he should. I mean, again, think what you want about the court cases, think what you want about his background. What I have seen is that he is very determined, he is very confident, and he is very, competitive. And I think that makes the perfect athlete, at least if you ask me. I think the perfect athlete needs all of those. Now, in a better way than Bauer portrays it, if that makes sense. But I do think that he is one of the best pitchers out there, and I think that if a team gives him a chance, he'll show him that he can come back. But that being said, how old is Trevor Bauer? My guess is he's got to be 31. 31-ish. Trevor Bauer age. Yeah, he is 33 years old. So he only has maybe 2-3 seasons left in him. Especially as a pitcher, you can't get that old or else your arm's going to kind of go whoop, loosey-goosey on you. So that kind of, I hope to see him in the big leagues again one day. What else do we have in baseball? Yamamoto looks very, very good with the Dodgers. I know his first start in the Seoul series did not look good whatsoever. It looked like Kershaw in the postseason. But he has really come up. What's his current ERA right now? I'm going to look up Yamamoto earned run average. It's a 4.09. And he started the season at like a 60 or something after his first 48 maybe? Did he give up 4 runs in that first outing? But he has really come around. He has really shown that he made an adjustment that he needed to. And maybe it was just first game jitters. But I'm glad to see he's coming around. And that being said, there are other Dodger players that are looking absolutely amazing. Obviously, Mookie Betts leading in everything. At the time of this recording, we're recording on the afternoon of Sunday, the 7th. You see Mookie Betts leading the league in absolutely everything. Home runs, RBIs, singles, doubles, everything. Stolen bases. This guy is absolutely insane. If he keeps this up, he is guaranteed going to win MVP. It's going to be no doubt about it. I'm surprised that he didn't win Player of the Week a few weeks ago, but he is this week. I just can't. I mean, we were all skeptical about him playing the middle infield this season, and what is it going to be like? He's played his whole career in the outfield. Like, how is he going to adjust to play in the infield when you have to more communication, more double plays? You got to turn these things. Steals, you got to be aware of all of that. That's just new to Mookie, and he's done absolutely incredible with it. Offensively, defensively, base running. I just cannot believe that he has turned out the way he has doing this new position this year. I thought he would need to get used to this new atmosphere, kind of this year, and then be okay this year and then great next year. But he came off. He said, hey, Doc, I could play the infield. I will do absolutely amazing, and that is what he's been doing. Teoscar Hernandez, by the way, is doing better than Freddie Freeman. This guy is absolutely insane. Teoscar Hernandez is, in my opinion, the second best batter on the Dodgers right now. Mookie is number 1. Teoscar is number 2. I know Freddie and Shohei are going to come around. This is just a World Series team just waiting to happen. It's in the process. We are 9-2, I believe. 8-2 or 9-2, something like that at the time of this recording. They're currently playing at the time of this recording. So, again, that's not going to be the right record when this comes out. Absolutely insane. Dodgers have a stacked lineup, stacked rotation, stacked payroll. I don't care. This is absolutely beautiful. The Astros, on the other hand, are looking very bad. At the time of this recording, they are 2-7, and their first win was a no-hitter by a dude who just got called up into spring training, just got called up to the opening day rotation. This guy is an absolutely storybook. I mean, he had his kid on his last spring training game. That morning, he went to the hospital. He had his kid, whatever. He goes to the ballpark. He absolutely dominates it in spring training. He finds out that he makes the opening day rotation. This dude's absolutely incredible. All right, so you think like, wow, storybook. That is absolutely amazing. Later, would you know that he's played only 8 total games and that he throws a no-hitter in his like 8th or 9th something, whatever game he has started. That is absolutely insane. He is absolutely incredible. This is the storybooks. His kid who was just born is going to tell his great grandchildren, and it's going to be passed down for generations. This storybook event that has happened in baseball, and this is what baseball is all about. You love to see this kind of stuff happen. What else is there? Not much in baseball. The season's just going along. We are getting my new series, HatTrick Lock of the Day, where I choose one team every day that I think will win. Make sure to check that out. We post daily on TikTok. I love doing the series so far. I hope you guys do too. Again, current record at the time this filming is 5-5. I've picked some risky guys. I've picked some risky teams because I know, hey, if I pick the Dodgers every time, yeah, I will have above 500. But I know at some point the Dodgers will lose. Like today, they're going to lose to the Cubs. So that is my background on HatTrick Lock of the Day. Thank you for whoever commented that. It's going on a T-shirt. Pop up the graphic. And T-shirts are coming soon. I'm going to make sure we get them out by the end of the month. So to you guys, a lot of stuff has happened. We got to do everything, then send them over here to me so I can make sure everything's good. And then it'll be announced to the public week by week. There'll be one design a week. And then, again, we'll advertise it everywhere. Jason Kelce appears on WWE Smackdown. Again, I don't watch wrestling at all, pretty much, but I've been seeing everywhere the Smackdown. Again, I think that's like the World Series of WWE. Don't quote me on that. But Jason Kelce comes out in mask. I guess nobody really knows it's Jason Kelce. He takes off his mask. He takes off his shirt. Beautiful. The matchmaking we needed in our life. I don't know why this guy didn't start off in the WWE. He was a natural, absolutely insane matchup. I think Jason Kelce is going to be The Rock after his career. So The Rock had his career in WWE. Jason Kelce had his career in football. Now they're just doing different things. So now I'm not saying Jason Kelce might go into acting, but The Rock obviously went to acting and everything else. I think Jason Kelce obviously has the podcast, is doing WWE, is doing more stuff with baseball. More of like an influencer, if that makes sense. Not so much an influencer, but going into other fields other than football, which I like. I like that he's trying to do something with his life after his career. And speaking of football and Jason Kelce, Stefon Diggs goes to the Houston Texans. I don't know his exact contract, but I am going to look it up. Diggs. All right, so the Bills. I'm going to look up his contract. Texans wipe out final 3 seasons on Stefon Diggs' deal. Here we go. As a part of the blockbuster trade to acquire wide receiver Stefon Diggs, the Houston Texans wiped out the final 3 years of his contract, giving him the ability to become a free agent after this season. So, this is absolutely incredible for him, for the Texans. Everybody, I think, will be happy. He plays this season. He gets paid whatever. He's like, he gets paid 3.5 guaranteed. And basically calls it a day. Hey, if you like it, if you like the Texans, if you like this team, hey, stay with us. Again, we will pay you. We don't care. Do what you got. And if Diggs is like, nah, I don't really like the Texans, he can go back to the Bills. He can go wherever. Anybody else can sign him. So again, it's good for everybody. I'm glad he signed with the Texans. I think the Texans are going to be a little sneak behind the back, kind of into the playoffs maybe this season. Hot take of the episode maybe. But the Texans are looking really, really good this offseason, what they've done, and what they have to do. I mean, the season doesn't start for another few months anyway. That being said, I feel bad for Josh Allen. I mean, obviously, him and Josh Allen have had a bond, and the Bills we're so close at making the World Series, or not the World Series, the Super Bowl, and I think this kind of just ruins his. Ruins his. All right. All right. 1 second. What was I saying? Ruins his. I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. Something with the TikTok live happened. Man. Well, I forgot what I was saying. Man, I wish sorry, guys. I wish I remember what I was saying. But anyway, Stefon Diggs goes to the Texans. Now, there has been a lot, I've been talking with a lot of people the last 6 months or so about what defines a sport. Is cheerleading a sport? Is volleyball a sport? Is bowling a sport? Is croquet a sport? Is swimming a sport? What makes a sport different from a competition? Now, there's this clip of these other guys talking about it. saying that there needs to be a defense. And I completely agree with that. Well, not completely. I partially agree with that. What defines a sport isn't just defense. Because if you think about it, is swimming a sport? No. Is it a competition? Yes. If you do it competitively, yes, it's a competition. Now, what about bowling? Now, bowling's obviously a sport, but it doesn't have any defense. You understand what I'm saying? So if bowling's not a sport, but swimming isn't a sport, and does that mean putt-putt's a sport? No, putt-putt's just golf. It's just a miniature sport. You could say that about baseball. Hey, is baseball a sport? I mean, it has defense, so it's got to be a sport, right? Is checkers a sport? Or is it just a competition? It doesn't sound like a sport. Now, this is what I've concluded. I've talked to probably dozens of people the last 6 months of all types of opinions. This is what I've come up with. A sport needs to have either defense or a ball. Now, when you think of sport, you think of a ball, football, basketball, baseball, anything. Now, you might be saying like, hockey's a sport, but it doesn't have a ball, but it has defense. So you need either defense or a ball to be defined as a sport. And that is my take on what is defined to be a sport or not. Man, I'm about to die with that water. Wait, 1 second. Sorry about that. Throat got super dry. But that is what defines a sport. A sport either needs to have a ball or defense. And that is that's the end of discussion. That is what a sport is. It needs to either have a ball or defense. All right. What else do we have? March Madness is about to end. Today is the finals for women's. Tomorrow is the finals for men's. Who we got? So I talked about this last podcast about who I think I had. And again, it hasn't changed. No games have gone on since that. It's been a week. But today, we have South Carolina and Iowa. I think South Carolina will win. I think Caitlin Clark is the only person on Iowa that even has a chance at getting drafted. Well, obviously, she's going to get drafted if she goes or to the 3 league or whatever. But she's the only player on Iowa. South Carolina is undefeated, has one of the best benches, probably the best bench in women's March Madness. So, that being said, I do think South Carolina will win. Now, there's a lot of controversy between Iowa and UConn about the foul at the end of the game. Were the refs influenced is the question. Now, were they influenced? Yes. Were they told to make the call? No. Now, I don't think the refs, before the game, have a plan about what they're doing. But I do think that they know that they need Caitlin Clark to make it to the championship game, or else they're going to get yelled at on the way out of the stadium. Now, I'm sure UConn fans also did that, but I think Caitlin Clark is bigger than UConn right now. So I think that there was just a split-second decision right there, and they just had to go with Caitlin Clark. But South Carolina is undefeated, so I do think, again, by the time this comes out, that game will be over, and I think that South Carolina will have won the national championship, the March Madness tournament. Now for men's, it is UConn and Purdue, and I do think UConn will win. Dave Portnoy put $600,000 down to win like $2.6 million. A lot of money, and I think Dave Portnoy will win that money, and I don't know, I hope he has a video of if or when they win or when they lose, how happy or mad he will be. And I'm sure either way, the reaction is going to be priceless. But I do think UConn will beat Purdue. Both number 1 seeds. So for all of the people that just picked the 1 through 8 seeds and just the higher seeds all the way down, congratulations. I mean, you guys had a 25% chance of this matchup to happen between all 4 1 seeds. So congratulations if that's you. We doubted you, but you persevered at the end. What else? So UConn and South Carolina are going to be March Madness champions at the end of the week, I guess. What else do we have? Oh, here we go. We didn't talk about this in baseball. Shohei Ohtani hit his first Dodger career home run. Now the lady who caught it, the security took her immediately. Obviously, that ball, in my opinion, is worth probably $200,000 to $250,000 is what I've been hearing. Potentially more, potentially less. I mean, right now it's worth a couple hats and a baseball bat. But her part of the story is that, hey, security took her and we're like, hey, we're not going to authenticate it. Shohei really wants this ball. You either give it to us, we'll give you a few hats, a baseball, a bat, signed, whatever. But we're not going to authenticate it if you don't take our deal. Now, what she did is she said that was the story and that I lost my train of thought. Oh, and that they made her give them the ball back, which is not true. I mean, their job, and this is what I've been talking about with a couple of people the last few days, is to get that ball for as cheap as possible. Now, if she was like, hey, no, I don't want that deal, and the Dodgers were like, all right, then we're not going to authenticate it. That ball's officially worthless. Go home, do whatever you got to do. Then she could sell the ball. I mean, she has the video of her catching the ball, whatever. She could sell the ball for, let's say, half of what I thought, a quarter of what I thought, $50,000, and make great money. But she said that they made her. But what I'm thinking is, like, why don't you negotiate? Like, what I would be like is, hey, either you give me 50, I think I said 50 grand, the bat, the ball, two balls, a couple of hats, signs. I want to meet Shohei. I want him to sign all this stuff, and I want a picture with Shohei. That's what I would have asked for. And if you give me the $50,000, maybe I'll buy the stuff. But I want the $50,000, meet Shohei, and get everything signed by Shohei. And I'm sure if she asked for that, they would probably been like no at first, and then move the money down. But again, like, if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. The security's job is to take to get the ball back, pretty much. And she was just willing to give it up. So that's that. I think I talked about everything else that I wanted to. So that means we are moving on to Hall of Fame, yay or nay. There we go. Hall of Fame, yay or nay. Brought to you by ShopHatTrickSports.com. Get your shirts, hoodies, hats at Shop HatTrick Sports. Today's Hall of Fame, yay or nay, is Steven Strasburg. He recently announced his retirement. He is a 3-time All-Star, Silver Slugger, World Series MVP. He played for the Nationals from 2010 to 2022. 12 years, career WAR of 32.3, 113 wins, career WAR of 3.24. He played almost 250 games. He started every one of those games. He had almost 1,500 innings pitched, 1,700 strikeouts, and a 1.096 whip. That's really, really good, if you ask me at least. That's really good. He never won a Cy Young, and that's a little disappointing, if you ask me. Again, I think that you need a Cy Young to be considered one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and to be one of the greatest. And if you're not one of the greatest pitchers of all time, you can't be one of the best players of all time. So that's where I'm stuck at. He didn't win a Cy Young, but he won 3 MVPs of the World Series, Silver Slugger. Oh, yeah. All right. So the question is, Hall of Fame, yay or nay, Steven Strasburg? I don't know. It's really hard because if Scott Rowland can get in, Strasburg can get in. But I don't think Scott Rowland should be in, but he is in. So I'm going to go with Steven Strasburg, nay. Barely. I'm going to go with nay, but it's barely. I think if he played one more season, maybe try to make a Cy Young out of it. I know he was on his downfall. Yeah, last year he only played one game and it was a loss with 13.5 run. Yeah, not good, but it's a nay for me. He led the league in wins in 2019. Game started 2014. Innings pitched in 2019, but he never went above and beyond. He led in strikeouts in 2014. But again, you need a little bit more from me. In 2017, he led an ERA+. So, it's an A. It's barely an A. Maybe he'll make it. I hope he makes it, but just he's not in the HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame. All right. Thank you for watching the 41st episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. You can check us out wherever you listen to podcasts, including TikTok for all the visuals. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Check out Shop HatTrick Sports, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 42. See you guys.